Hey guys, how you going? So some of you know that we are heading off around the countries very, very soon, and Elise will probably be at the forefront more of those like documentation of our travels. But you guys don't get to see her very much on here or talking very much on here, so we thought we'd start having a chat, and we're going to be documenting what we're doing as we go around and playing around with that, and still working out how we're going to do the best of that too, how we want to, but. I thought it'd be really cool to start coming in and chatting around sort of like the pre-journey part and where our thoughts are and what we're sort of working on, what's coming up, what we're working through, and it'd be a cool reference for us to look back on at some point in time whenever this journey sort of finishes, because we don't really have a set timeline for anything, so it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years, who knows, but I thought we'd come in and start documenting a little bit of that. So, what are you most excited about?
Just seeing new things all the time. I think we're really cool. You kind of got very windy very quick. You sort of get stuck doing the same things when you're living in one place. So it'd be nice to have to go out and do things. And I make it sound like that'll be a chore, but I mean like that it'll force us to get out of comfort zones.
Roll out of the caravan.
What do we have to do today?
Man. God, the sun came up.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm excited to just see new things, new places.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm excited about seeing how the boys grow up on the road. Like, I'm really keen to see how close they become, and how, we're pretty tight as a family unit as it is, but how much like the challenges and that will bring us together even more, as much as we want to probably leave each other at certain stops every now and then. But I'm excited about that. I'm super excited to just get out and speak to more people and share more about what we're doing and just bring some magic into the world. So that's really exciting me. I'm really excited to get the boys to get to grow up watching you gig as well, like at different pubs and stuff like that, when you get to play and actually actually allowing them to be there, or having the opportunity for them to be there if it's not like a night gig and those kinds of things. So that's going to be really cool, and excited about a stack, but those are the things that are most on my mind. So yeah, what are you most nervous about?
Honestly, leaving family is probably the big one for me. I grew up in one place, lived there for 22 years I lived in the same place for 22, 23 years before I moved in with you. And then when we got this place, that was at the time the place, and that was where we were going to be for a while. And that all changed, so it's going to be weird for me just not having a set in stone home base. Obviously then leaving my family, it's going to be interesting. Other than that, I think just living in close quarters, it's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, that's the close quarters. I'm sort of nervous from a
work
perspective of how limited that's going to be, or how impacted that's going to be, and just having to adjust in that space, and just the things that are going to come up for me in that space of not feeling like I'm doing enough, or feeling like I'm letting everyone down, and those pressures of having to produce to keep the dream of what we're doing alive, so that's going to be interesting to navigate, and not being frustrated, and understanding that everyone's adjusting and moving and working through that. I'm going to be, it's especially for the boys to have got so much space here to then be in a caravan or on the road for long periods of time, trying not to utilise TV and distraction and that as well. It's going to be really interesting.
It might be a bit of a juggle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
roof.
find a sweet spot eventually, but a couple of months that's probably going to take us. And I think the plan to go south and come back through is probably good to have like a little bit of a respite and see fam and that. And I was actually thinking about that on Wednesday. So we go and see my nan every Wednesday and take the boys and hang out there. And
They love it.
they do love it. And
So much.
you know, nan's obviously getting on in years. And I was sort of thinking the other day, I was like, oh, when we actually say goodbye, that might be like the last time I see her in person, you know. So it's just a possibility, you know.
I know.
So gotta start thinking about those things. And I still think she's gonna live until she's like
Oh, bless you.
uber
She's
old
stubborn.
like the rest of her family did. But
She's
you know,
stubborn.
it's just like making sure that I actually, you know, I was just thinking about what I would actually say in that last like sort of embrace. And before we do, obviously we're going to be zooming and still seeing her, but it's a little bit different to being in person. So that was I was a little bit teary getting into the house on Wednesday when we got there, because I was like, I don't know why, but I just thought about it in the car. I was like, oh, fuck, you know, like make sure like that I do say how much I appreciate her and all that sort of stuff before we do take off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been on my mind. I've been a little bit nervous about that. Other than that, not too nervous about too much really. I think we're pretty capable of like working through most things. I feel like our communication's in a really good spot at the moment, and got some good structures in place with that, and just leaning on the tools and the principles that we have to sort of hold us through. And other than that, it's more just keeping the boys from going full Donny mode from the Wild Thornberries.
Oh, there'll be plenty of those moments.
Yeah. But it's good too. I think it'll be a good challenge for them in a lot of different ways. And yeah, I think it's just the family that I'm most nervous about, especially with the boys. Like obviously they're really, really close with everyone. I ask Eli what his favourite thing is, like every night when we go to bed, what was your favourite thing from today? And any time that we see a family member there, like always the favourite thing, you know. It's like today was Pop and Alex. So yes, on Monday it was Nan, like Wednesday was going to Great Nan's. So that's going to be an interesting adjustment. But it's all part of the fun. What do you think each of our biggest struggles will be? So your own biggest struggle and then one for each other.
My biggest one's going to be the boys.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them dearly. But yeah, having them on my own a lot of the time, because I'm going to be going out, keep them occupied so that you can actually work. I think that's going to be challenging. And just, keeping my cool through that is going to be my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, I think mine's going to be not playing like hero and like allowing you to like find your groove and not coming in and like trying to save the day or trying to take it to the reins.
So they're going, help me, on your own.
But I think that would probably be my biggest struggle, and like what I spoke about earlier, and like the nervousness of like not putting too much pressure on myself, especially starting out early and, you know, building the momentum of going from place to place to place, and just adjusting to that life and that lifestyle and the differences that are going to be there in that space. I think that'll probably be my biggest struggle, is just that adjustment from a working point of view and finding that balance. That's probably the main thing. What do you think I'm going to struggle with the most?
Probably the same thing.
Yeah,
finding the balance between still enjoying it. Like obviously it's not a holiday, but still being able to enjoy things as we go around and not just going work and having the blinkers on.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, how often are we going to travel around Australia? I mean, we might do it lots. Who knows? We might make 3 laps.
Yeah, who knows?
But you don't want to miss out on things as you go. Defeats the purpose of having all the time with the fam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, got to try and find that balance, and I've sort of been, you know, even like doing the idea of doing multiple laps is like, okay, cool, you do something in the first place, and that first time you come through, and then the next time you come back around, it's like build momentum, and it's sort of, you're just cultivating like energy in different spots to start with, and I think the first year will be a hell of a lot of learning, integrating, taking experiences from people and really sort of like seeing what's going on, feeling like where people need support, and then creating something off the back of that, and then taking that back around, and building network, building community. So yeah, what are you going to struggle with? I think creativity with the boys to start with.
Yeah.
Because the default at the moment, like if things go to shit, it's like Bluey.
Yeah, chuck a movie on.
Yeah, and
that's me this afternoon. I am done.
And so I think it's going to be like getting creativity, because the boys are so active. How are you going to keep like that? When we don't have parkour, we don't have swimming lessons.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. I think that's going to be the struggle to start with, of like you getting comfortable going and doing things where it's like it's sometimes going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
But
still doing it, not
avoiding the shit show, and then because they're going to get better and better the more that we put them into those situations, the more they're going to adapt, the more that they're going to get better and better with it. So I think you're going to struggle at the start with just that. And then
especially once it becomes like, it's not a holiday, it's life.
Yeah.
Like the first few weeks, couple of months, it'll be like a novelty, and then it'll get to a point where it's like, oh god, I got to think of something now.
Yeah.
Like, we might be in a place for a couple of weeks, and it's like, we've done all the things. What do I do now?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the interesting bit.
The beautiful thing with Eli is he's like a creature of habit. So like if you find something he likes, you'll just be like, cool, go do that again. Go do that again.
Just find a good park, you'll be set.
Yeah, that's it. And Noah's just got to stop eating everything off the floor. But
I hope that ends soon.
What's been like the weirdest thought you've had so far in regards to like the trip? Like just the most random thought that you've had pop into your head?
I don't know.
Once tonight, this is why this question came up.
Okay, you go. See if you're inspired. If you think of something.
I was like, I wonder what the price of fucking Wheaties is in like the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Like a box of our boys just love Wheaties. Like it's
the plainest cereal. It's great.
Yeah, they just smash like 2 bowls down before bed every night. But I was like, I wonder how expensive that's going to be.
Let's stock up on Wheaties.
Yeah, we don't have enough stock.
They're already $6 a box for like the small box. Ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know if I've like thought something like that and been like, that's odd.
Cool. What about any questions? Have you got a question? I've sprung this on you tonight.
You really
so
have.
I haven't had a good time to prep or plan. But
do I have a question? How do you think we're going to go? So we're very much going not much of a timeline at all. Sort of the only thing that we might have is sort of like my gigs. I might be able to book a few weeks out if I'm lucky. How do you think we're going to go? Like deciding all the time where we're going, or like fitting things in without a set timeline, if that makes sense.
That's a good question.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it made sense.
Okay, good.
Just gonna put like a massive map on the wall and throw darts at it. No, I think it'll be alright. I think we'll find our rhythm and our groove. At the moment, I think we're just sort of in this limbo period, waiting for settlement, like waiting for finance to go through the house.
Yeah.
Once that happens, then we sort of have a date of like settlement,
and then we can actually get a caravan.
Then we can get a caravan and we can do all those things. It'll start to get a little bit more rigid-edge once that happens, I think, and we'll sort of start to actually have a look at a map and plan out where we want to go first and how long that's going to take, and start to have a look in different areas and go, okay, well, if we want to go do this, this and this while we're there, that's going to sort of take this long. And, keeping in mind like what we're going to do on the way back through, and different events in that space, and different collaborations and events that I want to get set up and running and that to come back through and do. So, I think it'll be a little bit clunky to start with, but once we're moving, you know, we'll sort of back plan. I guess probably the best way to do it is like if cans for Christmas next year is like the target, backtrack from there.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, well, how long does it take to go from there to there? What do we want to see along the way? And then we can sort of circle and go from there, and then start to put some stuff into those areas around like what we're doing when it's coming, like start to drum up some interest in that space and start making it move. So, yeah, how do you think we can go? Or has that just alleviated your concerns?
No, it's pretty much, yeah, it's definitely going to be a learning curve, I think.
Yeah. How are you going to keep yourself sane?
Great question. Not sure I have an answer. I think if I can just get a little bit of alone time each week.
Each week? That's easy. That's doable.
Each day? Honestly, I think it'd be easier. I say this now. Future me might look back at this and go, yeah, well, you can. But I think, it'd be easy because there'll be, new walks that I can take the boys out and do. There'll be new parks. Like at the moment, we sort of go to the same things because we know what's good. Whereas somewhere new, it's changing it up for me too, not just the kids. Yeah. So I think that's actually really going to help. So as long as I can get a little bit of time to me here and there.
Is that like just you time with you, or is that you time like getting to like do gigs, like putting in like doing stuff towards your gigs, like finding new gigs, or is that going to be something you're going to incorporate when you're at the park and you're sort of like...
I'll probably try and incorporate that. Like practicing and stuff, I'll try and do that. Like say at a caravan park while the kids are playing. Take my guitar out and play. Try and build it in like that. No, I mean meantime, like I can go do a horse ride somewhere. Yeah. Solo beach trip, hike, something like that just gets me out and doing what I love.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. Yeah, that's something we got to be like really onto, like structure for days and like making sure you get your face time and get to wash your face and do all that. But even like having a space where you can like work on yourself as well and really dive into like what's coming up for you and make sure that you're actually like processing emotion and processing those things rather than just bottling them up and releasing them at the top of a hike or something.
That sounds like a great time, actually. Top of the mountain.
Yeah. How am I going to keep myself sane? I just get to do what I love. So, like, I think that's one thing that's over the last sort of 6 to 8 months we've been doing really, really well. There's like a lot of where we put our energy is in the spaces that we want to. And in particular for me, there's still a lot of like gap when it comes to you and where you want to put your energy in. We're sort of still working on that, but I think for me in particular, the last 6 to 8 months we've been really focused on putting energy in the right areas, and for me that creates like a lot of that reciprocal energy and not burning out and not needing the space to like have time to yourself and those kind of things. They're obviously important, but they're already sort of like a part of my structure in like the mornings when I wake up and do all those things. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing for me is like having the support from you to be able to just get up in my structure. Yeah. Like get up, get what I need to get done, get into it, and then we can sort of assess the day, and if that means I can be in the office a little bit more or whatever the office fucking looks like. I'm wearing a caravan. But yeah, like whatever that day looks like, of like keeping that routine set so I know that that's all good, like the mindset stuff's done, body work's done, and then whatever happens with the day, it sort of like can flow on from there. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me in keeping sane is having that support from you of like, alarm goes off at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm up and I'm out, and if the boys are up, then you're up. Like...
That's the bit I'm nervous about. Yeah. There we go. That's it.
Because that's sort of like especially at the moment with the boys not sleeping the greatest and those kind of things, that's what sort of kicks us, in my opinion, out of our flow is that like me sleeping in, which then pushes everything back, so...
Yeah.
I've got to have the discipline to be like really onto that from my point of view of like, okay, even if it's a shit night, get up, you can nap in the arvo, like take that downtime when everyone's tired, you know, like in the afternoons where like the guy, like when you're ready for support and the boys are ready for support and they just want to hang and they're just getting in that dad mode. Like if I have already been up, then I can chill in that time, you know, like we can have a nap, or not that we ever get to have a nap with the boys, but who knows, maybe they'll get on the road and they'll just be like start sleeping under the caravan and just cruising and
Where are they?
just asleep on the floor outside, and who knows.
That's what dreams are made of.
But yeah, I think that's for me what'll keep me sane is just the structure, and doing like more of what we love, you know, bigger and bigger scale as we go around. So I think that's going to be really, really exciting. Yeah. Anything else, or should we cut that? Should we make that the end of the first one?
Yeah, I think that works.
Cool. Sweet.
I think before I start yawning, I'm holding him in.
So, well, hope you enjoyed that, guys. We'll do more and more of these as we start getting ready to prep up. We'll start having a look at what we're talking into and I guess what's coming up for us and where our head's at and thoughts and emotions, and as we get closer and closer to the takeoff, and then we might...
It's going to be a big month.
Yeah. Aim to do one of these a week or something like that. We'll see how it all plays out. But let us know see if we remember. But structure. Big love. Have an incredible day, week, night, wherever you are. And we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao. Wrong hand.